Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I'm doing the Q&A portion, and while I'm answering the questions, you will see the fan art being displayed. The special announcement will be at the end. You will notice if you watch the previous fan art video, there are 3 more submissions that came in a day or 2 before the contest ended. And since I was neck deep in finishing an audiobook, I hadn't had a chance to share them yet. My voice gave out a little bit there. Whew. Thanks, fall allergies. I didn't receive that many questions, but I think the questions that I did get would answer most anyone else's questions. So with that being said, let's get started, shall we? I stole that line from Threadbanger, which I highly recommend you watch them. They're hilarious. Anyways, Dreamer Jen asks, how did you get started? Let's travel back in time. I got started because I am a horror, let me pronounce that correctly, a horror addict. Since I was about 7 or 8, I would stay up all weekend, seriously barely sleeping, trying to find and watch as many scary movies as I could get my hands on, and I loved it. However, I was pretty alone in that love as far as anyone else I knew. So when I found horror on YouTube, it felt like coming home, and so of course I had to try my hand at it too. Dreamer Jen also asked, what is the process you do to prepare to narrate? Because you have to do something to keep that sex talk with Lady Duchess voice going. This is my voice. However, if you notice when I do things like live stream, my voice will be a little bit higher, and that's because the more anxious I get, the higher pitched my voice will get. I don't get nervous doing live streams anymore, but the technical difficulties I always experience every single time starts to make me anxious during it. So yeah, my voice will get higher and higher and higher and higher. Lord Insidious, do you have a process on what stories you narrate on your channel? Let me see. I answered this in sort of 3 parts. I like to find something that I think, number 1, people haven't heard before, but if they had, not from my perspective. Number 2, it has to make me say whoa, or it has to wow me even just a little bit. And number 3, I like to have a little bit of everything, so I made it so that I have pastas on Tuesdays, True Stories on Wednesdays, and then Saturdays were Serial Killer Saturdays, and alternating more with pastas and True Stories. The serial killers can be a little overdone, and it can get a little disturbing when that's constantly in your mind, and you have to give it a rest. Mike Forbes, which if anyone doesn't know, that's my husband. He's always on my Twitter. He asked this question as part of a joke because he knows what the answers to this is already, but he thought it would be funny if he asked this question anyway. He says, what do you like and dislike most about videos and narrating? What I like most is the amount of creative freedom I have unleashed in myself. And what's amazing is I can do some pretty crazy stuff with Movie Maker and Audacity, which are totally free. And if I ever had updated software, I think I could make some amazing stuff. That's just because I get a tunnel vision of what I think the story should look like visually. Again, you can only do so much with free software. So I don't know what I could do with stuff that was upgraded, fancy tech stuff. But I really want the story to convey the message of what the story is about. I want the video to convey the message. Dislikes. Oh, our computer has a mind of its own. And it has really been an added stressor to this entire YouTube thing, that YouTube in itself has made it extremely unpleasant process. That has to do with the end, so I'll just wait on that. That is one of the things I dislike, though, when you put your heart and soul into something. I mean, it's always a risk, But when you put your heart and soul into something and then it gets buried or no one watches it or no one likes it, I mean, you really can't tell. I really can never tell how people are going to respond to something. Something I think they're going to hate, they love, and vice versa. So, I don't know. I do the best I can with what I have. Lindsay Foy, she asks, is there a subject you wouldn't want to narrate? And to that I say no, there isn't. I feel like there's a story. Every story should be told, especially if it's an injustice. It should be told loudly. And I love telling messed up stories that aren't true as well, because I love listening to something that I cannot guess the ending to, and I think other people enjoy that too. I think pastas deliver that very well. So there's nothing I wouldn't read. There's things I know people wouldn't want to listen to. There's maybe some deep abusive stories about children I wouldn't particularly want to narrate. However, if I found myself in a position to where I had to read something and that end result would be something that was going toward helping children in some way, then I guess I would, but I haven't had to come across that yet, so I guess I would cross that bridge when I got there. The next question, whoa, I lost my microphone there. The next question is from Einan the Alien, which I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, and I'm very sorry about that. Hold on, I gotta adjust this thing here. Okay, how did you come to create the channel? Are you an actress, horror fan, journalist, law student, or a cop, or something? Where did the spark come from? Okay, so that's a lot of questions in one question. So well before I was 7 or 8 up all weekend watching scary movies, I was an even younger child with an even littler brother. He is alive and well currently, so no worries there, but when he was born he had a ton of health issues. Allergies he couldn't hear, amongst a laundry list of other things. He was in and out of the hospital all the time, but he had tubes put into his ears, over a series of years, not just, you can only do so many surgeries on a small child. I think the last time he had him in was when he was 7 or 8. The 5th time finally took, so he can hear now, but through the process, though, before he could hear himself speaking, he had a severe speech impediment. And since we were in our own little sibling world, so did I. So here I was, 5 or 6 in school. I had already been reading and writing at home. However, I too had a severe speech impediment. And so the schools usually have like their own speech therapists there. And so I was put into speech therapy. And part of speech therapy was reading out loud. And so from there on out, I preferred to, and still do, prefer to read out loud. Let's see, what was the rest of this? Are you an actress, horror fan, journalist, law student, cop, or something? Where did the spark come from? Not an actress per se, but I love voice acting, definitely. Horror fan, of course. Journalist, no, but I would love to be. Not a cop or a law student, although I have toyed with expanding my higher education. Let's see. I have a bachelor degree actually in human resources, not services. There is a difference. I know that people get it confused, but if you're familiar with The Office and Toby from The Office, that would be my job title. Employment laws, babysitting your boss, that kind of thing. The law has always fascinated me. Not our justice system, because I think it's broken, but the protection of those who can't protect themselves. It's a deep, passionate interest. I mean, it's not just an interest, it's a passion of mine. And it's with me 24 hours a day, so it's hard for me to look at something and just ignore what I just saw. That's not how I operate. It's hard for me to hear about someone's suffering and be like, oh, that's too bad for them. I want to help them. Most of the time I can't really help them, but I really want to try. I'm rambling. I'm just going to leave it in. All right, so, that's not very long, but I didn't mention a special announcement. Now, the other day when I decided this, I was very upset. I'm not upset anymore because I think it's more of an opportunity than anything else, but I was ugly crying about it. So I'm thankful that no one could see that, but I have tried with YouTube, and they have made it perfectly clear that they do not want, nor they plan to even respond to horror creators. In fact, this is Saturday, the 16th, and I noticed that several of my fellow narrators are no longer uploading. If they are, they're just having nothing but problems. YouTube isn't letting them upload. They're constantly demonetizing it. They're constantly giving them a community strike. And the thing that bothers me about it is that horror, just like DIY videos, just like makeup videos, all of that, music, all these creative people came to YouTube because it was a platform for you to come and express yourself and create something, and for people to come and watch. And I mean, even I still watch tons of, I'm a DIY addict. It's horror, DIY. Those are the things that, yeah, I'm obsessed with those on YouTube, and it's terrible because now I have a hard time finding horror now on YouTube, and I don't blame anyone for it. So hopefully you won't blame me for what I'm about to say either. I am, besides the fact that I'm just a speck of dust on their radar, there's bigger YouTubers. You know, you've got Unit 522, you got Darkness Prevails, and even Mr. Creepypasta. They're all having problems surviving. And I know people say, oh, you're a sellout for wanting money. Well, every person that makes videos on YouTube gets paid for it. And the reason that they should is because YouTube gives you an opportunity to do that through ads. YouTube makes a ton of money off of these creators, whether they pay the creators or not. It's like a triple injustice, because horror, just like every other venue, helped build YouTube into what it is today. Let me just wrap this up and say, I'm coming to a point here, and that point is that this October, I'm going to make it the craziest, wildest, and most horrifically scary and disturbing as I possibly can. Now that's keeping in mind that they continue to let horror upload on YouTube. If you don't see any more uploads from me, that's because YouTube isn't going to let me. This past week, a narrator who was he was up and coming really quickly, Creepy Tales Corner, he was getting harassing, racist, threatening comments on all of his social media, but specifically his YouTube, and he had become targeted. And as a result, his channel was taken down, and he was told it was because of spam. I'm not really sure how that's justification when someone is racially targeting you, that YouTube can justify that. But they just took his channel down. All the stuff, gone. And if you've ever made any video in your life ever, and put all this time and effort into it, can you imagine making, I don't know, I think I've almost made 300 videos, and if I were to log on and find it, it's all gone, I think I'd probably spend a week of just being like, what the fuck? What the fuck? They're not going to do that to me, so here's what's going to happen. October, should I be allowed to do so, will be the grossest, and I'm warning you now, the grossest stories I can find. No holds barred. All of October. And then on November 1st, no more new videos on YouTube. The channel will stay up. All my social media will stay up. I will respond to comments on YouTube, should I still have a channel on YouTube at all. And if I don't, that's because YouTube takes it down, not me. All of my social media will stay up, and that's because I'm going to make a DuchessDark website with an app that will be free. I'm also going to make it so that anyone that features, any authors or anyone that writes stories to me, submits stories to me, will be featured on my website. So that will bring them traffic and some recognition as well. Because I have quite a few authors that I have gotten permission to read their stories, so that's really a gift, and they should reap some benefits from that too. I haven't personally ever made any money off of YouTube. I never would. I mean, the way things are going, I never would anyway. So why not try my hand at something else? I am delving deeply into audiobooks. I mean, I hope it leads to something else. I've done one commercial, and it was for a tax service somewhere in the South. It was a nonprofit. I got paid, it was nearly free. I think I got paid $10 for it, but it was for a nonprofit Christian radio show, and they needed someone to do a tax commercial, so a tax service commercial. So I'm hoping to branch out. I'm hoping to do something with this, and I everyone has that dream. I hope I'd be a big giant YouTuber. I still had that. I want to be a woman that not just paves the way for other women, but paves the way for other people to get their voice out there, their work out there. I'm the type of person that when I go up, I want to take everyone with me, and I mean everyone. I'm getting off track and I'm rambling. DuchessDark. Let me put it like this. When you put on a costume at Halloween and you feel like you can be something else, someone else, DuchessDark lets me be all that and more. It lets me be who I feel like I am on the inside. So I can never stop doing that. So I'm hoping to create something that's going to be long-lasting, that someone else can't decide what will be posted there and what's worthy of being recognized. I will decide. I think it might be an 18 and over only. I'm not sure yet. Or maybe I'll just have an 18 and over area, just because some stories I want to be able to post raunchy, scary, gory stories if I want to. And then know that someone's not just clicking on an app and being like, yeah, I can listen. That's what happened to YouTube. Every child is on YouTube, and because of that has sparked this whole thing, along with the fact that, let's see, in case you don't know, and I'm sure most of you do by now, but one journalist saw one video. It was a terrorist video, a terrorist propaganda video, and it had ads on it. So that journalist told other journalists, who told everyone that YouTube allows ads to run on terrorist propaganda videos, which made all the advertisers and people with companies that had advertisers freak the fuck out. That's what started this whole thing, a miscommunication. However, YouTube took it a million steps farther. You can go on any channel on cable and see that there are ghost adventures, there are paranormal witness. People want to watch that stuff. And guess what? They have commercials for it, because you can't have commercials for it. I mean, you wouldn't even have it on TV if people didn't want to watch it. Not to mention the fact that there are some just awful, horrible shows on there. I don't know. I'm rambling on and on, so you probably getting like 100 thumbs down for this, but it's time for DuchessDark to spread her wings. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen during October, but I'm going to do my damnedest to leave my mark on YouTube. But I'm not leaving any of you subscribers behind, so don't think that I'm abandoning you. Don't think that I'm abandoning you, because that's not the plan at all. If I was abandoning you, I wouldn't even tell you about this. And I think what's going to happen is during October, and I've got a few narrators already on board for this, because I want you to check them out. I want you to listen to them. There's so many talented people on YouTube that just don't get the recognition that they should. So what I'm going to do, I think, is as soon as the website's done, because it won't take that long. The problem for me is trying to figure out how to get it so that you, the listener, can either just go to the website or go to like the app and click on it and just immediately be able to listen to something. You'll know what the title is, you'll know who wrote it. If it's not me, it's someone else who it is. And you can just immediately listen to it no matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing in your car, anything. And you won't have to log on to anything. You'll just be there. It'll be me all the time. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, so if it is, I'm so sorry. No, I'm not. I'm not sorry. But what I think I'm going to do is do October 1st, YouTube, October 2nd, my website, and alternate it to phase you, my subscribers, into the website. And it will be a learning process for sure. I want it to be user-friendly. I want it to be something that is easy for you to go on and see something new. I want it to be something enjoyable. I want it to be an enjoyable experience for you. I want it to be easy for you to use. So during the process, I will be looking for your feedback. I'm going to have a newsletter, not a newsletter, but I'll have, what's it called? Updates. You can sign up for updates in your email so you'll constantly know when something new is up. But I'm going to tell you this, I'm going to try to get something new up, or at least have something scheduled for release every single day. I'm confident that it will most likely be just audio. That seems to be an easier route to go, and I know that most people don't even watch the visuals anyway, but again, I would love to know your feedback on that. So before I close out, I hope you guys are all voting on the fan art. I'm going to give each numbered piece of art its own comment in the comment section, so I'll look for like comments and likes. So if you like number 1, click like on that. You can like multiple ones, and if you have a piece of art in the video, tell your friends, tell them to come and vote. And that way you're still gonna, because I'm not taking the channel down, so whoever wins it will get bragging rights for a year on YouTube. Should the channel stay up, I'm not taking it down again. If the channel's down, it's because YouTube became full-on asshole. But whoever wins it is going to get their own piece of merch of their choosing with their fan art that they created on it. And they will be a big part of DuchessDark.com. So, yeah, it's kind of a big deal. You know. I'm rambling a lot. I'm really sorry about this. Oh, I've rambled now for 24 minutes. Awesome. Okay, well, I'm going to close this out. And if you guys have more questions, please leave them in the comment section or email them to DuchessDark.com. All I can say is, as I close this out, I'm not going to leave you guys behind. I hope you join me on my website. But again, I said I'm going to phase you into it, so I hope you listen to the whole end. I hope you listen to this point, because I now realize it's 24 minutes in and you may have zoned out now. Anyways, I seriously fucking love you guys. And let's make October one to remember. See you next time.